Hey everybody. So in the last video, I forgot to give you your homework. So I want you to go ahead and pause this video right now. Go ahead and do the workbook pages 60 and 61. That was supposed to be your homework. So why don't you go ahead and pause it and then come on back and then we'll jump right into it, okay? All right. Okay, so I'm assuming you paused it. And hi, welcome back. You finished your homework. Okay, so let's go ahead and move right into the next lesson. And we are just basically going to go over the homework, pages 60 and 61 in your workbook, okay? Now, the first thing we're going to do in lesson D, of course, we start out with reading, and it says complete the chart. So we're looking at this chart. This is the chart right here. Looking at this chart, and we see that it has places for children, places for food, places for help, right? And then we have this word bank up here. You have a word bank up here. So it wants you to take the places from the word bank and put them in the right category. Okay, so what are the places in the word bank? Let's talk about that first. In case you can't see it up here, I've also written them down here. So what are these places? Please repeat after me. Coffee shop. Coffee shop. Daycare center. Daycare center. Grocery. Grocery. This should probably have said grocery store. Grocery store. It looks like they separated those two words up here. They have grocery here and store here. They should have said grocery store. And I just noticed that, actually. Then we have hospital. Hospital. Playground. Playground. Police station. Police station. Restaurant. Restaurant. School. School. Store. So like I said, I think this should be grocery store, but okay, that's fine. So we are going to complete the chart. So let's look at the list and let's think about what on this list, where are places for children on this list? So let's look at our word bank and think about places for children on this list. And then let's look at our word bank and think about places for food. And then let's look at our word bank and think about places for help. All right? And let's move on to our next slide. So number one, places for children. So they already gave us daycare center. Another place for children is a playground. Kids love the playground, right? And then, of course, school. Daycare center, playground, and school. So these are three places for children. What about places for food? Places for food. We have coffee shop. You can go to the coffee shop and you can get coffee. Like Starbucks is a coffee shop. You can get coffee at Starbucks, but you can also get food at Starbucks, right? Okay. Grocery store. Grocery store. Or, grocery and then a restaurant. A restaurant is a great place to go for food. And then store, but like I said, grocery store, restaurant. So those are places for food. And then places for help. Go to the hospital. Or you can go to the police station. These are places that you would go to for help. Awesome. All right, so let's look at the next exercise. Let's look at the next exercise, exercise 2. So in exercise 2, our word bank here, our word bank that's here, we have apartment building, daycare center, high school, senior center, and shopping mall. These are places that are in our word bank. So now we're going to answer these questions. We're going to answer these questions and see what we get. Well, not answer the questions, but fill in the blank. Complete the sentences, basically. Number 1. Caesar lives in a big apartment building next to the school. So if you think about any other word, no other word would fit. You wouldn't say Senior lives in a big daycare center, or Caesar lives in a big high school, or Caesar lives in a big senior center. I mean, a senior center is not a place where people live. It's a place where seniors go for activities and to do fun things and fun events, but not for school. I'm sorry, not to live. And of course, he's not going to live in a big shopping mall. So our answer to number 1, that's why it's apartment building. So let's look at number 2. Mrs. Juan is teaching at the blank now. So what's a clue in this sentence? Is the clue Mrs. Juan? Not really, because we don't really know anything about her. Is the clue teaching? Now that's a good clue, because on this list, the main place that you would find someone teaching would be what? A high school. So Mrs. Juan is teaching at the high school now. All right, so that's a good clue. Number 3, the blank has many different stores. So what's our clue? Many different stores. Stores is our first clue, but when you say many different stores, that's a really big clue, because there's really mainly one place that has a lot of stores, many different stores, and what's that? It's a shopping mall. It's a shopping mall. And number 4, Katya is driving her 3-year-old son to the... So what's our first clue? 3-year-old son. So young kids, babies until about 4 or 5 years old, they go to a daycare center. Right? So when we look at our answers, number 1 is apartment building. Number 2 is high school. Number 3 is shopping mall. Number 4 is senior center. And number 5 is daycare center. So repeat after me as I read each sentence with the answer. Number 1, Caesar lives in a big apartment building next to the school. Caesar lives in a big apartment building next to the school. All right, very good. Number 2, Mrs. Juan is teaching at the high school now. Mrs. Juan is teaching at the high school now. Number 3. The shopping mall has many different stores. The shopping mall has many different stores. Number 4. Stella is taking her grandmother to the senior center today. Stella is taking her grandmother to the senior center today. Number 5, Katya is driving her 3-year-old son to the daycare center. Katya is driving her 3-year-old son to the daycare center. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's take a look at the next exercise where it says, write a conversation. Use the sentences in the chart. So let's first take a look at the sentences in the chart. So we have speaker A and speaker B. So these are the sentences that speaker A will say in the conversation. The corner of 6th and Union, this is a question mark. The corner of 6th and Union? Excuse me, where's the post office? Excuse me, where's the post office? Okay, 5th and Union, is it next to the bank? Okay, 5th and Union, is it next to the bank? So these are the sentences that speaker A will say, and then these are the sentences speaker B will say. It's on the corner of 5th and Union. It's on the corner of 5th and Union. Yes, it's next to the bank. Yes, it's next to the bank. No, on 5th and Union. No, on 5th and Union. So now the idea is for us to put the whole thing together, right? The idea is to put the whole thing together and write the conversation. And it starts out with, excuse me, where's the post office? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come out of this and I'm actually going to do this in real time and write the answers right here. So the first one, the first thing that's being said is, excuse me, where's the post office? So that's speaker A. And then speaker B has the answer. And the speaker B's answer is B. It's on the corner of 5th and Union. 5th and Union. These are street names, by the way. So it's on the corner of 5th and Union. Now, speaker A didn't hear it too well. And so speaker A asks, the corner of 6th and Union? And speaker B has to correct speaker A and says, no, on 5th and Union. To which speaker A answers, okay, 5th and Union. Is it next to the bank? And then speaker B answers, yes, it's next to the bank. So that's the conversation that we have between speaker A and speaker B. So let's take a look at it in full, and then I want you to repeat after me. Excuse me, where's the post office? It's on the corner of 5th and Union. The corner of 6th and Union? No, on 5th and Union. Okay, 5th and Union. Is it next to the bank? Yes, it's next to the bank. All right. So now we are going to go to the next page in our workbook, and that's page 61. And this one is a little bit interesting because we have two different letters. One is a postcard right here, we can see, and the other one is, this looks like an email, or maybe it's just a regular letter. But I say email because it looks like this is something written on a computer. You can see the scroll bar right here. So that's why I say this is an email. And when you have different environments, you write in a different way. In our next lesson, we'll actually go over in more detail each of these, but I want you to see how different they look when you write it on a postcard or when you're writing an email. You can see on a postcard, they make it very formal. They start out with a date, and they have dear, and then you have an address. You know, you have a physical address that's right here. You have the person's physical name and a physical address. An email is not as formal. In an email, you know, it's just a simple hi, and then an end. You don't need to put a date on there. You know, the email will tell you all of that, right? You'll know what day and what time you actually got this note or this message when it's in an email. So in the next lesson, we're going to go over in detail, and we will do a lot of repeating and pronunciation so that we make sure we cover that part of our lesson as well. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. See you guys in the next one.